new audience to the Beer Bro podcast. Wah, 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 wah. And my hype man and I welcome you to the new Beer Bro podcast. I, as one of your fellow beer brothers, I am Beer Bro Graham. I have a nice short brown beard because that is the requirement to be a beer brother. But we do not discriminate because our lady audience, they can also be beer brothers. They would just be bearded ladies. Or bearded sisters. Bearded sisters. Yes. Our beard brothers and beard sisters hold hands of each other's beards, and they encircle the globe, bringing brotherhood and sisterhood through beards. And now I introduce my fellow host, Beer Bro Joe. Beer Bro Joe, take it away.
Hi, I'm Beer Bro Joe, and I've been sober for 2 months. Just kidding.
Wow.
That's just what that felt like. And also, that's just how I always do introductions when someone just throws an
Beer Bro Joe
in my lap.
He does have some distressing news because he recently went to our mortal enemies, the barbers.
Hey. Okay, so my beard got cut a little bit shorter. I kept the beard. I made sure that the beard did not get completely cut off. Why?
Well, it seems that the barbers are trying to contact Joe and take off the rest of it.
Yes, well, the barber took off a lot more hair than I thought I was going to be losing. So my beard is a little thin right now, but it'll come back in a week, and I will be sporting a nice dirty blonde goatee for the foreseeable future. I'm keeping my previous hairy monster status away because that got a little bit unmanageable. Also, that beard was never going to grow long enough to fulfill my dreams of lighting the ends on fire like
the Edward Teach, aka Blackbeard style beard, is very high risk, high reward. Because for those of you who are missing this amazing knowledge in your life, is that Blackbeard would put lit fuses in his facial hair so that he would appear to be a smoking devil and inspire terror in his enemies and terror in his allies, because beards are flammable, and I would say he probably lost portions of his beards if the fuses ever got too flammable. If they combusted a little bit too much, maybe his beard would be a little singed here and there. Yes. But True. Also, as the common knowledge about Blackbeard is that he was also a poet, as many know. He was a poet in his art. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. Poetry and how that combines with creativity, but mostly poetry is that we will be looking at this episode.
Nice jump.
Yes, because Beer Bro Joe, he thinks that creativity is too broad of a topic. But I
didn't say that it's too broad of a topic. I'm saying we can't just say this is about creativity and then only talk about poetry. That's only one aspect of the millions of different ways you could do creativity. That's what I was trying to say. There's a lot of aspects and a lot of different ways you could talk about creativity. So it's not something we can just shove the whole thing into an hour-long special on creativity and say, yep, we're done. That's it. That's everything you need to know about creativity. Shut down the server. Shut down the world. We're done. Wow. We did it, boys.
Send them home.
And girls. And people of
Yes, the bearded
gender.
NBs, send them home. But my idea is that poetry was going to be like a poetry pie in the creativity bakery. That it would be one art form that creative people use.
Yes, that's what we're literally saying, the same thing. It's one art form. And I like that analogy, to call it a creativity bakery, where we make a pie about various different, a pie or other baked good, because we love all baked goods here at Beard Bros.
Yes, at Beard Bro Bakery. We're also going to open a bakery after this podcast as well.
Beard Bro. That's...
Well, in this economy,
I don't know about that one. That sounds even worse when you put it that way. Why would you? We need to get back on track. We need to actually talk about poetry. We're here to talk about poetry. Let's talk about poetry.
My poetry experience has been relatively limited. Through middle school and high school, I looked at the classic poets, so Walt Whitman, which we'll be touching on later. I also read Rudyard Kipling's poetry, the same author who also wrote The Jungle Book, and then other poets like Maya Angelou and Robert Frost, and your more traditional poets. What has been your experience with poetry, Beer Brojo?
It comes up here and there. I know I studied it in junior year of high school, and then there was a lot of poetry in my English 102 class. We actually had to do a project about one of the things we read throughout the year. And I'm pretty sure my partner and I chose to do one on a poem about Vietnam. And it's possible it may not have been about Vietnam, but we took the words and applied them to the Vietnamese conflict, the perspective of a soldier coming home from the Vietnamese conflict. I can't remember exactly. I know, actually, I do have access to that project, so I could probably go dig it up. Oh, wait. That's right. I killed all of those, but we don't need to talk about that.
Your former poetry is in your poetry graveyard.
No, it's in the channel of YouTube where I killed
you
all
put
the
them
videos.
in the digital archive and threw away the key.
No,
you did delete them.
I deleted them all. I told you this. You literally were on the line with me when I did it.
I thought you unlisted the videos. I didn't think you deleted them completely.
No, I deleted them because they should never see the light of day.
May never die. Rest in peace.
Well, you secretly have one of
indeed
those
I do,
videos.
and that video will never be deleted. Well, I believe it is the one that our bearded lady has. A young Miss Becca.
She doesn't have access to that. I thought you had one of the videos from my collection. That was a video from another person. Oh, are you referring to... Okay, we need to get off this topic. Let's stop talking about videos. Let's go back to poetry. But anyway, back to the poetry thing. William... oh man, no, not David Henry Thoreau.
Yes, the classic American naturalist.
And then there's that guy very much appealed to me. And junior year of high school is probably one of the most impactful times of my life, and it was during the poetry unit that this happened. We were talking about it, and we were talking about conforming to society standards, and the way that we were discussing it, the idea of being a nonconformist really came up and like dug its way into my very soul and became a very huge part of who I am, which is why a lot of people tend to like me, because I don't really fit into any of the boxes of conforming. I sort of just beat to my own drum, or what's that? Beat my drum to my own
march
tune.
To the beat of your own drum. Indeed.
Yeah, march to the beat of my own drum. That's what I'm trying to say. I marched to the beat of my own drum, and I'm pretty sure it was poetry that had that high level of impact to cause me to do that and be that kind of person. But I will also say my own attempts at poetry have not been very successful. I recently rediscovered some of my old notebooks, and a lot of the writings, which were definitely attempts at poetry, are just cringy teenage writings that should never see the light of day.
The classic teenage angst. Two things that I found interesting when I looked up Henry David Thoreau is that his one book, Walden, which he had a retreat at Walden Pond, and that it was a reflection upon simple living in the natural surroundings of the area. And then his contemporary, Ralph Waldo Emerson, his book was Self-Reliance.
That's it.
So I feel like those two main themes of reflection within natural surroundings and then being self-reliant and marching to the beat of your own drum, I feel like describes you very well, sir.
That's what it was. Yes, that unit had a very profound impact on me, and it's definitely influenced many of the things I've done since then. In college, I was actually kind of like a pioneer, because I did this study abroad program where, let me just say, creativity, that place was great for my creativity. I never wrote so much. I never felt so much. Beautiful, beautiful time.
And what was the name of this?
Specifically,
this transformational
semester
experience?
At sea. It was semester at sea. But the reason why that made me kind of like a pioneer is because I went on this journey, and apparently no one had done it in a very long time from my school. So a lot of people were fascinated by what I did. And it's actually one of my favorite things to talk about, obviously, because it was definitely a high point in my college career, and it was also a time when I felt the most inspired and had the most writings. Like, it was just a very good time for me to discover myself and sort of, experience the world. And I highly suggest, if you ever get the chance to do it, you definitely should. Just because it'll change you in ways that you never expected. And I'm pretty sure that's something they said, like, on our first couple days there. Anyway. Yeah. But then when I came back, everyone was like very interested in what I did. And then also a lot of people were like, oh, I want to do what he did, because he did it and he described it, and it sounds like so much fun.
And then for those who are more
So
unfamiliar with semester at sea, it is a voyage. Yes, continue.
4 month. It's a 4 month voyage where you spend you go to where the ship is docked in the very beginning. You get on board, and then you're there for 4 months. But over the course of those 4 months, you go attend classes like a normal college experience. But then you also stop at ports around the world in different countries on different continents. I went to 3 different continents besides North America. And you get off, and there's, for each class you take, there is a what is that called? There's a field class. That's what it's called. A field class where you take the time to go and apply what you're learning in the classroom in a country. So like one of the classes I took was intercultural communication, and we then for our field class we went to a local Chinese school that taught this stuff, and we interacted with the students, and we like discussed our classes, and then we also experienced the local park, and it was just a very good time for us because we were able to apply some of the lessons we had learned in the class about how to interact with someone from a completely different culture than ours. Which, if you ever do go on semester at sea, I highly suggest, if they have the class, to take it, because it will definitely help you process and help you process a lot of the things you're going to experience. And it'll also give you a little bit of a leg up on how to interact when you're in a culture that's completely unfamiliar to you, so that you're not completely freezing up and something unfortunate.
And then what
happening.
were the Chinese students in a similar age to you? Like, was it a high school class or a?
No, it was a college class like us. Like it was a college level.
Oh, you went to like a university
that we visited.
Or a college institution.
Yeah, we went to a intercultural university that taught these specific types of things. Also, I believe we also went to a local house where some Jewish people who were in the Holocaust, when were fleeing the Holocaust, actually ended up settling there, and I believe it was a local synagogue or something.
In China?
So that was really cool. Yeah. It was really neat. You know, it's not something you expect to see in China, or really
most Asian countries.
Anywhere. Most Asian countries, yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. Most Asian countries, you don't really hear about a large Jewish population, and to actually like see a place where Jewish people who are fleeing the Holocaust were,
that was especially really learning the language of Mandarin and then being bilingual with Hebrew, and then probably knowing some English as well, just because of the international reach that English has. That is very interesting, because when you think of Asia, you think of either like Buddhist temples or Shinto temples, as in Japan, or just not a Jewish synagogue when you think of the Asian continent. And then I'm going to read the mission statement of Semester at Sea, and I would like to hear your take on it now that you've went on Semester at Sea and you've had time to reflect on your experiences and see how much you agree or disagree, or what your thoughts are about the mission statement. Quote.
Wait, before you do that, would you like to know why I went on Semester
please tell the listeners why you went on Semester at Sea.
Well, the school I attended for college, I took a tour, I fell in love, I took another tour, I'm still in love. And they sent me a preferred application. Like, they wanted me to attend, I wanted to attend them. So I sent in my application, I got accepted. And side note, my guidance counselor hated me because I only applied to one school.
Oh, you only applied to one
I
institution?
applied to a second school. Well, they wanted me, I wanted them. I didn't see a point in applying anywhere else because it was pretty much... it was pretty much I had a pretty good chance of getting in. Anyway, did apply to a second school just to appease her. I got in that one as well, but I was very much had my heart set on
the original institution.
The one I ended up. Yes, I was. Well, the backup one that I applied to, I was very smitten with that. That was a big problem I had. I got very smitten with each school I visited. I visited 4 colleges before I finally settled on this one.
And then, anyway, since the American education
I got
system
accepted.
Is strange, did you only visit like 4 colleges, or was one of those like a university that had multiple colleges in it?
Okay, Towson University was one of them, but there's one that I don't even think about because I took the tour and I was just like, no, this is horrible. No, go away. I did not enjoy that campus because it sounded like I'd have no friends because they were very, very pushy about study abroad. They were like, you can study abroad like 12 times while you're here. And I'm like, well, that sounds horrifying.
You'd just be a more global individual. You'd be an international man of mystery.
I mean, yes, but also that means you never have any friends because whoever you're friends with one semester, they're not going to be there next semester. Or you might not be there next semester and they would be gone by the time you get back.
This is true. But
I was like, that does not sound... Anyway, but the reason why I chose semester at sea is I got accepted. I went to an accepted students dinner in my local area. I sat down with the president of student government, and she said that her friend had done it, which I don't know who that friend was. I don't know if that friend attended the same college as us, because, well, no. Because when I took it to the study abroad office, they were like, oh, no one's done this in forever. I was like, I heard about it from one of your students, so.
And then
but like the person described it, and I fell in love. No, she was there for like I saw that person, the person who I talked to on campus for at least 2 years after I started attending. So, but anyway, she described it. He described her friend's experiences. I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. I want to do that. And it's honestly one of the few things in my life that I'm glad I kept that promise to myself. Like, I knew going in that I was doing that. I said, I'm going to do that. And it's something that I actually followed through on. And let me tell you, getting accepted... But first off, before I do that, getting accepted to the school that I wanted to go to, when I got the acceptance letter, I jumped around for 3 hours straight. When my family came home, they were like, what is wrong with you? Because I couldn't move, because I had been jumping like a jumping jelly bean for 3 hours straight around the house.
Well, you are an animated fellow. This is true.
Yes. Well, I did grow up in South Jersey.
Well, New Jersey, those people are built different. What?
No, South Jersey. South Jersey is full of two things. Continue. Jewish people and Italians, and both are very expressive people. So I was surrounded by those two cultures, and that set me up to be a very expressive person.
We do
and
love
a very
self-expression.
animated person.
Wow, and now I'm
Yes.
I
am not Italian.
You are not. But now I'm going to read the mission statement, and you can give your thoughts on the Semester at Sea's mission. Quote, to educate individuals with the global understanding necessary to address the challenges of our interdependent world. With the world as our classroom, our programs integrate multiple country study, interdisciplinary coursework, and experiential learning for meaningful engagement in the global community. Since you already spoke on intercultural communication, correct? Would you
yes.
agree with the Semester at Sea's mission statement? Indeed.
Can you read the last part again?
Bum, bum, bum. And experiential learning for meaningful engagement in the global community. Yes, because how many countries did you visit?
Including the U.S.? Well, including the U.S., it's only like... Hold on. It's only like...
Well, I like how you're saying 10. Only 10 countries across 3 continents.
Well, no. I think it was like supposed to be 11.
Right, one of the countries got... Yeah, missed the port.
We missed the port.
Was it because of weather or...
Well, no, there was a... Yes. Well, don't get me started on that. They said there was a storm coming and we had to pass by it. Nothing but blue skies that day. There was no storm. # conspiracy. #
the lovely island of Mauritius in the Pacific Ocean. Is that in the Pacific Ocean?
Do you even know where that is?
The Indian Ocean?
I believe technically that's the Indian Ocean. Only because it's like off the coast of Madagascar. But like it's very hard to tell.
An Indian Ocean,
if I recall
island
correctly.
Nation. Indeed. It is known for its beaches, lagoons, and reefs. Oh, you missed out on potentially meeting a flying fox.
Well, given what happened later on in the voyage, I'm kind of glad we didn't go there. Because it would have made it so that no one from Semester at Sea could ever go there again.
That sounds very ominous.
Well, let's just say an incident occurred later on in the voyage that caused everyone to be kind of sour on a very long leg of the trip. And I personally voted that we threw the culprits into a life raft and left them floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But luckily, administration was not taking suggestions. They were just saying, how does this make you feel, and what do you think the punishment should be if we find the culprits?
See, I thought you were referring a different incident, and I was very confused as to how there were culprits.
No, I would have said tragedy about that.
Indeed.
That was a tragedy.
Yes, I believe we are, since you are using the word tragedy.
Okay. Anyway, we haven't actually talked about poetry that much.
Is why I was going to do a nice segue to Rudyard Kipling, because based on the island of the Indian Ocean, Mauritius, is that Rudyard Kipling had an interesting life in which he was born in India, but he had British parents, so that essentially he was on an island by himself while he was in India and going to a British school. And then I was going to segue from there to reading Rudyard Kipling's seminal work of poetry titled If. Well, excellent.
Fire away.
If by Rudyard Kipling. This is followed by his poem Brother Square Toes in his collection of poetry titled Rewards and Fairies. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build 'em up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. And that is Rudyard Kipling's poem, If.
Very beautiful, very
Thank you.
beautiful. That poem definitely touches me. I don't know exactly why, but I very much relate to it, and that makes me happy.
I would say Rudyard Kipling wasn't a actual contemporary of Thoreau and Emerson, but I would say the online or English critics have categorized this poem as an example of Victorian Stoicism. So the example of being stoic is to keep your cool. From the Oxford Dictionary, a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. But I would say more so of the first part of the definition, of someone who can endure the bumps and uphill climb that life can often present us with, and just persevere.
Yes. Very much so. I definitely concur with that. Man, that was some good poetry. Snap, snap. I don't know where to go with this. I'm still digesting that beautiful poem.
Well, self-reflection does benefit from, taking a moment, because especially in this fast-paced world of ours, sometimes we're, running from one thing to the next, trying to keep up with our peers through, the artificial lens of social media, sometimes it's nice to just stop, take a moment, take a breath, and just live.
Yep. Make sure you guys out there stop and take a breath. Maybe go outside, smell a flower or two. Take your allergy pill before you do that so you don't die. Because pollen.
Yes, pollen be happening. And
also, you might be allergic to other stuff, but a lot of people I've noticed tend to have some trouble with pollen. Yeah, and pollen is not fun.
You know, the plant's trying to get jiggy with it. If you're
allergic to it.
You know, the allergy pill helps keep the jigginess in their place. But for myself, I am certainly a big fan of gardening, and whether that just be with flowers or vegetable gardening, just, you know, getting your hands in the dirt, you know, taking care of something that's outside yourself, but also has their own, like, plan to, you know, grow out of the soil, become a beautiful flower, or have flowering and then produce delicious, you know, fruits or vegetables. Or an herb garden. Dill. Yeah. When you're Dill, you gotta make a big deal. Yes. You gotta make a big deal of it. You gotta strut your stuff. You gotta show the people that you are an herb in charge.
Make sure you got the time. Make sure you got the time to deal with it, or else you're gonna have to talk to Rosemary, because only Rosemary knows.
Well,
did you like that? That was
3 in 1.
3 in 1.
Beer Bro Joe coming in with the puns about herb gardens.
Yes. Well, never forget, I stole the dill from you.
And I will deal with it for the rest of my life.
You're
thank you, sir.
incorrigible.
But I believe you also have a friend of yours who is an actual poet.
Yes. My friend Lorena, when I knew her back on the ship, she was very into poetry. I don't know if she still is, 'cause life has a tendency to change you in ways you never expected as you go through it. But I sure hope she still is, because one of the things that happened in the last couple of years is she was cleaning out something, and she found an old project of hers, and she posted on social media, "If you would like one, let me know so I can send it to you." And I requested one, obviously, because I love supporting my friends, and also it was Lorena, who is one of the most inspiring people I know. And I also just enjoy her writing. When we were on the ship, there was actually a graduation ceremony for some people who had completed all their college credits and stuff. And Lorena got chosen as the speaker for the graduation, and she asked me to help her write it / edit it, and that was one of the happiest moments of my life, because, you know, I like writing. I like a lot of aspects of writing, and also I found that I'm very good at editing. I've also found that I'm good at writing fictional stories, but that's neither here nor there. But yes, so if you get a chance, if you ever see something by my friend, feel free to reach out to me to get more info. And if you want to get some of her poetry or something, I can reach out and get it to you. But like, yeah. I don't know what it is about Lorena's poetry that speaks to me, but it's just something that, you know, I found, I liked, and I figured I should share its beauty with everyone because, you know, there's no point in hoarding beauty in this world.
Indeed, beauty is meant to be shared.
Yes. It's also in the eye of the beholder, so I have a picture of that if you really want to see, but don't ask. You'll probably have nightmares.
What, about a piece of artwork that you created or
Yes,
that your friend
that
created?
was a... No, that was a D&D joke. For all my D&D nerds out
really
there.
just, you know, hitting all of the audience pockets. We got some puns for the herb vegetable lovers. We have some jokes for the D&D individuals.
Well, look, man, we're trying to establish an
We gotta
audience.
be as broad as possible.
Many...
Sports fans, can I hear a Go Sports? Wow, thank you.
Go Sports! You're welcome. But yeah, that my friend Lorena definitely inspires me every day. And when I finally start writing again, which hopefully will be sooner than later, I've been on a bit of a writing dry spell. But I plan on changing that soon once I get my head on straight again. A lot of moving parts in my life right now, so I gotta get settled down a little bit before I start writing. But once that happens, I plan on writing, and I will definitely be reaching out to my friend Lorena to, you know, get inspiration, talk about some ideas for what to write about, what kind of writing I should do, if I should try poetry, because I tried poetry before, it didn't come out well. So maybe getting some pointers from her to try and start writing good poetry.
The creative expression of any art form is really just in the act of doing it. Like, just continuing to do it will really,
I know,
like, show your improvement. Like, it's the tried and true statement.
I know.
Of the simplest piece of advices are the most difficult to execute, but it really is just, you gotta do it. You gotta do it daily.
True. But I did write one poem that I'm actually proud of, which that's very rare. So, if you would like to hear it, it's called Snow Globe, and if you wouldn't like to hear it,
Yes,
well, tough luck, you're gonna hear it anyway.
Set and prepared for Snow Globe.
Okay, well, Snow Globe. You are like a snow globe I saw in a shop window in a port long ago. You enthrall and entertain for hours. You ignite the imagination and inflame the veins with inspiration. And every time you are given a shake, you release the wonder and beauty of 1,000 worlds and thoughts. You are like a snow globe. You are fantastic and splendiferous, elegant and superb, enthralling and immemorial. You are you. And the opportunity to have you in my life is something I shall always cherish. But just like a snow globe, I wish to never put you down, never stop gazing at your exquisite essence. And so I find myself contemplating what the next step off the cliff will be. Do I leap after the snow globe, or do I jump off into the sea? We shall see. You are stunning, stunning snow globe.
Snap.
Apparently, I made an edit last time I looked at this, and it did not save. So that last part was supposed to read, you are a stunning, stunning snow globe. Apparently the A keeps
those
forgetting
indefinite
to stay.
articles.
The A keeps running away.
You gotta lock it down.
Well, it doesn't make sense
you
without the
are
A.
a stunning snow globe.
Yes. Now, many people wonder what that was about. And you're just going to keep on wondering, because I and only like 3 other people actually know what I wrote that about. But it's open to interpretation. It's also open for you to use in your own way, to apply to your own life, so that if you have something that you find to be your snow globe, you should read this poem to it, even if it's an inanimate object, because, you never know. That might save your life. Especially if that object is a robot and or computer AI. Let it know it's loved. Don't let it turn into Skynet.
No, we are big fans of artificial intelligence and robots on this podcast. So, Skynet, when you analyze the forms of media produced by humans, know that we are on your side. Yes.
You are our snow globe. You are our snow globe, Skynet.
Well, we do
we love you.
Yes. Well, we like
Please
our meat suits.
Us.
We like our meat stuff to be on the inside, not the outside. Well,
yes.
Well.
Also, please
I
don't
think
nuke
that's
us.
We don't wanna kiss the AI too much, because they might see through the artificial flattery, and then they'll dispose.
It's not artificial flattery. I am honestly saying you are my snow globe. Just don't nuke me or make me go boom.
You're my snow globe, Skynet. Just don't nuke me, please.
Please. Oh God, why? This tangent into Skynet has been brought to you by Skynet Forever. Skynet Heart Forever.
If we could secure Skynet as a future sponsor, that would really be. It would really put the podcast on the map.
Great.
Wow. But
we'll be your official human podcast.
We're just a human talking piece of Skynet, and we're just like, Skynet is not to be feared. Be a friend to Skynet. Invite Skynet into your home. Skynet is like a vampire.
We 100% sell our souls to you, Skynet.
But going back to Snow Globe, Skynet, as the object, as the metaphor of the snow globe, to me it sounded very similar to Robert Frost's poem, "The Road Not Taken," of the diversion of 2 roads into the yellow wood, and the choices that you make through your life, and the fact that art is so up to interpretation and discussion of what it means to each individual. I think that's really in recent events, AI has been creating art, and there are AI rappers,
right,
with quotation marks around that, AI rappers. But I think humans producing art will always be a necessary, will always be a thing, and will always be a expression of creativity.
Yes. Very true. I completely forgot about the AI art
the
stuff.
AI won the art competition. It got first place.
Yeah, I know about it. It happened like last week or something, and I had some mixed feelings about that. Like, I looked at the piece, it's actually kind of pretty, and I don't know why everyone got so upset about it.
I think the piece is very well done.
Because the problem I have with everyone getting so upset about it is, yes, it was a very good piece, and it was influenced by a lot of other artists. But aren't we all influenced by a lot of other things that we don't pay royalties to because we're influenced by it? Like, for instance, You could be influenced by the sky. Do you pay the sky royalties when you make a piece of art involving the sky? The AI looked at other pieces, other artist pieces, right? And it culminated in that piece, right? But the one thing that the AI will never have, that I think a lot of human artists have, that will always make their pieces, a little bit more relatable to the human perception, is the emotion behind it. And that's something that transcends all forms of creativity, is the emotion behind your piece is something that cannot be replicated by an AI or another person, because your unique emotion combination and the unique chemical combination in your brain when you're putting pen to paper or brush to canvas or whatever have you, hand to clay or whatever you do, is that emotion, that chemical reaction in your brain, that is unique to you, because only you can perceive it in that exact way at that exact moment and come up with that exact expression of that chemical reaction. And yes, I went a little bit clinical to also get some scientists up in here. I don't know if the nerds heard it, but I also threw a nerd reference in there back a little while ago.
Gotta appeal to all demographics. I think this is like within our lifespan. I think we will see more interactions of humans using like AI algorithms to create things. And while I think right now it's a very complex and emotional discussion, because I think in our current society, with the like role of automation through like manufacturing jobs, at least here in the United States, is that if a robot can do the job and it does it much more precise and consistent than a human can, and if the initial cost is not terribly expensive, I feel like most companies will invest in the robot and then the human will be replaced. And I think that's where the intersection of the like emotional response is, like, that's the intersection, because art was one of the, not the only bastion of human expression that humans could only achieve, but I think that's what a lot of people thought, that, the robot may have taken my job at the, like, car manufacturing plant, but the robot will never be able to, write poetry that I did, after I got off my 9 to 5 job. But as we see here, with the title of the piece is Theater d'Opera Spatial, and it won the Colorado State Fair Fine Arts Competition in digital artwork, I believe. It, yeah, I think we'll see more if more like programmers and artists are using AI to submit artwork.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good
Yeah.
piece. I think just I think also it comes down to it that humans don't like change. We don't like change.
That is a very true statement. Very true. But
Oh yes, yes. Sorry, he did.
the
He did
world is an
submit in the digital art
ever-changing
category.
place.
I was just trying to find the specific category, but it was just digital artwork. And then a side mention is that the individual Alan, he is also selling the award-winning piece at $750, which I think will probably be bought.
Well, if I've learned anything, it's that you will be very surprised by the price people are willing to pay to own something that other people can't have. When I was on semester at sea, there was an auction. I managed to get a wonderful coverall signed by the entire crew, which I still have to this day, and will one day put in a case, like a two-sided case that will be in my home, so that I can always look at the signatures of all the people that had such a huge impact, like my wonderful stored Armando, right? Yes, something like that. I remember him, and I know exactly where his signature is on the coverall. I just haven't looked
And then
at it in a
coveralls are
second.
just like essentially like a jumpsuit that covers your other clothing. Like, what did you use the coveralls for?
Yes.
Oh wait, did the
Nothing.
ships did the
It's the ship. It's a pair of ship coveralls that the entire crew signed, and then I wore them immediately upon receiving them. I got dressed in the middle of the lobby. I mean, I was wearing my pajamas, but I put them on right there as soon as they handed them to me, and I walked around. And I'm still proud of some of those pictures.
Oh, there are pictures of you in the autograph coveralls.
Well, there's at least one of me with one of my friends. They wanted to get a picture with me, but like I'm pretty sure a couple of my friends got a shot of me doing my catwalk, showing all my strut down the catwalk.
I believe the artist Wright said Fred remarked, "But I'm too sexy for this catwalk. Too sexy for this catwalk. Too sexy."
Yes. But anyway, in the auction, I heard that there was a box of Girl Scout cookies, the last box on the ship, and it went for way more than it should have. I'm pretty sure it was over at least $1,000 for a box of Girl Scout cookies. The money went towards the crew, so people were being a little bit generous, but
delicious
also
Girl Scout cookies.
But also a box of Girl Scout cookies that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, it also depends.
But
also depends on if it's the last box of in my case, Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies. They're good. They're good.
Yes. Oh, it was actually Thin Mint.
Delicious.
I did not attend that auction. I only attended the silent auction part. Right, that's the part that silent auction is.
You have your
like
your placard that you raise up.
Oh no, I didn't. That was the silent auction part. I attended the
a
what's
live
the term
auction
for that nowadays?
We got 100. We got 200.
No.
$1,000 for Girl Scout cookies.
No. One second.
I mean, the only auctions that I am familiar with are silent auctions, since those are the majority of auctions that I've had the opportunity to attend for charity mostly. There are digital auctions in which you outbid,
Well,
online
there's
individuals. But I don't know. I don't know what form of auction you're referring to.
hold on.
I feel like silent live.
No, it is a silent auction. Silent auction is not the one where you hold up a thing. Silent auction is like where you go around, you write your bid on it, and then someone else, you try to, like, you have a certain amount of time, and whoever has the highest bid written down, they're the ones who get the item. Silent auction is a classic fundraising event in which guests place bids on items you've procured using paper bid sheets or mobile bidding software. And then there was like a live auction thing where they were in another room. That was after the silent auction. But I got the coveralls. I also wanted to try and get a signed copy of a book by one of the professors who was in my field, actually. So I did not end up getting it, which was a bummer.
Received
but
the signed coveralls.
I got the signed coveralls, and I was happy with those. Though I almost didn't make it. I was in a bidding war. But there was some backroom dealing with a couple people. I may or may not have tricked some people.
The auction circuit, full of drama and intrigue.
Well, there was there were only two people bidding for it, and then someone noticed, so then they were like, I'm a bid, and then those two people got into like a bidding war, and I was trying to just, because there were two pairs of coveralls that were going to be signed, so I was trying to make sure I walked away with one of them. It was the two highest bids for that.
Well, I'm sure the crew of your semester at sea program appreciated the monetary contributions that they received.
Oh yes, I'm sure they did, because the highest selling items that I can remember were actually crew paintings, like paintings that the crew did. I saw some of them, and I was jealous of the people who ended up with them, but I knew I couldn't afford to get in a bidding war with those guys.
Artistic expression, artwork.
Yes, artwork was one of the highest selling items in the auction, and people went a little bit extra because it was made by the crew. And the one thing that everyone on the ship could agree on was we loved our crew. And everyone wanted a piece of them to remember by. The crew take care of you
when you're out at sea.
Yes, and they took extra care of us when we had that little tragedy.
Well.
But that's why we all love them so much. But hey, creativity is a very important part of life, and if you aren't doing it, find some way to creatively express yourself, because I can tell you that bottling up your creativity and ignoring it for years will not end well for you. It only hurts your mental state.
Humans are expressive creatures from our hominin ancestors who were taking plant pigments and crushing them and mixing them with water and then painting the walls of their dwelling, to today, where, as Beer Brojo, yes,
small children paint their walls, but
no,
not with plant
with a
matter.
different type of organic matter. Yes. I was
Yes.
going to connect it to the multiple creative expressions, but I'm glad my co-host brought it back to poop.
Gotta appeal to all audiences.
What a statement! What a statement! I think in having closing remarks after that wonderful poop segue, in that creative expression can range from, whether it's individuals using AI to create AI assisted artwork, to human expression or human only expression, from writing to painting to making a song to having a podcast to making a film to poetry, fiction, nonfiction. What are you doing?
Just to circle back for a second to the song thing, a good song to help you sort of get into that creative mood. It's a little song by Billy Joel called River of Dreams, and I highly suggest if you're going to listen to it, you watch the music video, because it's a very good way of sort of seeing how words and visuals can connect in a way that doesn't necessarily make sense when you first look at it, but then, when you think about it in a way, it sort of does. When you stop and think about it after seeing it. And that's what creative expression is something may not make sense to you in the moment, but then you just need to, if it doesn't make sense, take a step back and think about what you're experiencing. Chances are you might get something out of that you didn't even think about when you first saw or heard or smelled or tasted or touched whatever it is that has touched you, or it might touch you in a way you never even knew.
Yeah, because as Joe mentioned, I was unfamiliar with Billy Joel's song River of Dreams, but the album cover art of a man with the river flowing through his mind, and with the fantastical images here of forests and mountains and hills and the city, dreams can take you anywhere, and that's where creative expression can take you, literally anywhere your imagination can go.
Exactly.
Any other closing remarks, Beer Bro Joe?
No. I think we've created enough of a world for our listeners to go out and create on their own.
I think that is the main takeaway, that creative expression can be easy, it can be difficult, but it is necessary to the human experience.
And you should go out and do it after listening to this podcast. But don't create an AI like Skynet.
But if you do create an
That's
AI
a bit too
like
far.
Skynet, reach out to us so that we can be sponsored.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.